Welcome back to Fight Camp, and that woman will be fighting in Australia for the first time in 5 years. And Megan Anderson, kind enough to join us now. Megan, you got your first look at Marvel Stadium today behind us. What are your first impressions?
It is definitely much bigger than a lot of the stadiums that I fought in before. I fought in a sold-out United Center in Chicago, and this is much bigger. But I'm excited to be back on home soil. I think that's the most important thing for me.
For you, in your preparation for this fight, you've fought in the UFC following a loss. You fought in the UFC following a win. How does your mentality and preparation in those two circumstances differ?
Man, I think one thing that I have done in the past is I've focused on the result. And although this sport is very results driven, I think for me, this camp, it's definitely been about me and about, changing things up, doing what best is for me as an athlete. We changed my nutrition. We changed a lot of my training. We changed a lot of different things, my strength and conditioning. And I think we finally found a system that works so good for me. And I have seen amazing results in just my confidence, my mental game, my MMA game in the last 13 weeks, and I'm so excited to finally get to showcase them.
Changing the nutrition, are you still having the pound of bacon outside of camp every weekend? No?
No.
Yes? That was a tradition.
I know it was taken away, and I'm really upset about that. But I love bacon, so I'm sure I'll get to be able to go back to that.
Well, it'll prove worthwhile if things go well here Sunday morning. You're facing Zarah Fairn Dos Santos out of Deschamps Round in France. First time many of us are going to see her. You've proven more than a capable analyst for us in the past. So play analyst. What are her strengths, and what are some areas where you might have an advantage come fight time?
Zarah does a really good job of utilizing her jab. I think that's what kind of sets her range. Once she gets her jab going, that's where she finds her best work. She does a really good job of controlling the center of the cage. But I think with that, she hasn't really fought the caliber of opponents that I am and all the opponents that I've fought. I think one thing, too, that she might not be very aware of is the range. She's always been the longer fighter, she's always been the taller fighter, and she doesn't have that this time. So I think, it will be interesting because I definitely am very excited to just sit down in the middle of the cage, bite down on my mouth guard and throw. I've been wanting one of those fights for a long time now, so I feel like this is a really great fight for me to showcase everything. And I think too, one thing she hasn't had to deal with is the power that I bring. You can kind of look at footage and stuff like that on me and think, oh yeah, I don't think she hits that hard, or she might hit hard. But once you get in there, that's when you people do that. Oh, this is a different beast, and I'm excited to showcase that on home soil.
What's been the message from Coach James Krause and your coaches at Glory MMA, and things that you can't let her get the upper hand in?
Really, for us, it hasn't been a lot about her. It's about me. And finding my flow. I know for us, we have set things that we need to do that, no matter what, that's our reset. We go back to that because if we hit those certain things, our chances of winning significantly increase. I feel like I have a really good ability to adjust minute to minute, particularly with my striking, and I'm definitely excited to showcase a lot of other things. But for them, it's more of making sure I'm in physical top shape that I can be in, checking all the boxes, my head is where it needs to be, and just enjoying everything. And I think that's, really the key for us is just embracing the moment, embracing everything that comes with it.
You mentioned it a moment ago. I mentioned it off the top. This is your first time fighting professionally on home soil in almost 5 years. And all due respect to Zoe Schreireis and Rochambeau MMA, this is a little bit different of a stage than last time you were fighting in Australia. That was in Brisbane. What was your reaction when your participation on this card was finalized?
I was really excited. I think my evolution as a person has changed so much in those 5 years. And I wanted to be here for the Rob and Israel fight, even before I knew I was fighting. So it's even better that I get to fight on this card too, because it's going to be the biggest fight in, Australia and New Zealand history. I'm glad that I can participate and be a part of this moment and represent women in the sport, and particularly in Australia. I know we're very far from the hub of MMA, that is the United States, but you know, for us, like I'm trying not to get like too emotional because this is a really big deal for me. Like it was always been one of my goals to fight in Australia in the UFC, and finally it's coming true. And I'm just enjoying everything, and I'm so excited.
How do you keep those emotions in check when you are minutes from a walkout with 56,000 plus waiting for you in Marvel Stadium?
Man, I'm sure we're about to find out, but I think, you know, I've always been, no matter what happens, you know, during camp, during fight week, as soon as I make that walk, it's business. It's all business. I'm here to do a job. I'm here to put my head down. I'm not really in a position to kind of say a lot of stuff or like make crazy demands. Like I know I'm 1 and 2 in the UFC, and you know, I'm just here to put my head down, work, and you know, throw leather.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports and analysis, download the ESPN app, and for live streaming and special content, subscribe to ESPN Plus.